Welcome back to the channel where we do extreme testing. Yes, I am. Beta testing, extreme. We'll talk about it later. Anatomy of a Zero. No, I'm not talking about planes. World War II planes. No. Anatomy of a Zero. Fuel exhaust valve. Also known as, well, actually, what they actually do is squirt delay valve. It should be renamed to that. I mean, because the other one, nobody knows what the fuck that even does to a carburetor. It's a fuel exhaust valve, dude. Oh yeah, what does it do? It exhausts fuel. And you're like, okay. Must not be important. Yes, it is. It's the most important part on your carburetor is the fuel exhaust valve, which is actually a fuel delay squirt valve. Yeah, that's right. You crack those throttles, nothing happens. You get the proper exhaust fuel valve there, or should I say the proper delay squirt valve, and you turn the throttle and it'll squirt. That's how important it is. So you're not embarrassed when you come to a stop and you start going again. Your passenger's going, what the fuck? Are you the newbie driving this car? Yeah. Anyways, fuel exhaust valve, anatomy of a zero. Let's get to it. Okay, so this is just anatomy of the zero. So I'm going to use my drill press as a press to press the bearing out. This is like 180. So that orifice is 180. Okay, this is a zero. Zero! We want to know what's going on inside. But it looks like it's basically what I guys taught you. Basically just push in that little keeper in further and that'll turn it into a zero. I think that's what this is. Okay, that's it. I heard it go ding. There you go. Okay, so we're going to measure that little clip right there. I suspect that it's just longer. That's all it is. And basically when we push it down, we basically turn ours into zeros. But I just wanted to see what a zero was. And I'm going to measure the bearing and also the bore that's here. That's in there. And we're going to gauge it basically. And then compare it to the standard one. Okay, we're going to compare it to this. See what we did here? We just pushed in that little key further down to basically get a zero. Really, that's what we're doing. So it looks like there's really nothing different from this one to this one. I bought two zeros, because I figured I might try them on my green car. But if they end up being exactly the same thing that we did, that, you know, that little, let's see if I can get it to focus. Yeah, where we push that little key further in, then there's no point in me installing those in my car. So all right, so if anything, we'll use the zero on the carburetor the other carburetor that I have up there. Because I was talking to my son about it, and he's all like, Dad, if you finally figured out how to stabilize those IDFs from, you know, keeping them from plugging up, he goes, then I might want to try that, a single carburetor IDF in the center, you know, do a center mount on this one, just to see if we can get 150 out of this. Mechanically, I think we're probably at the limit, you know, the 140, mechanically speaking, meaning the valves, the ports will not flow anymore. The head basically will not flow anymore because of the cam. So we're probably at the limit of the FK42 cams, which gives 140 horses. So might not be able to get more. But my son says, hey, let's give it a try, see what happens, you know. So he might order the center mount kit, and we already have the IDF that we're going to modify identically like the green car. Basically drill those holes on the bowl so that he never plugs up, and he should be able to drive this anywhere without the fear of plugging up. All right, so that's the whole thing. So let's anatomy of a zero. Okay, So this bearing measures 3.22 millimeters. That little bearing that goes in the zero. See, it says 0.0 times 2, right? It's 2 of them that I bought. Let's see what this one measures. This one is actually from this one, which is the old 55. This is a 55. Okay, let's go ahead and try that. Basically, it measures exactly the same, 322 millimeters. 3.22 millimeters. Okay, they're identical. They're the same size, so there's no difference so far. Now let's measure that thing the lengthwise and that thing the lengthwise. And that's what that little keeper measures at, okay? 5.04 millimeters for the 55. It's 532 millimeters. Okay, now the bore size is 3.50 millimeters. That's the bore size on the 0. Yeah, just gotta measure that. Okay, so now we're gonna try. So we have 352, a slightly bigger bore on the older, 55. So, okay, so here's what we got so far. 55, which is standard that comes in with your IDFs. Okay, the ball is identical to the 0. Okay, there's no difference. The keeper is actually longer, and that actually does increase your squirt a little bit than the standard one. Okay, because look at the keeper on this one. It's really small, so it's further away. The bearing's going to be further away from plugging up the orifice on the top of that thing right there. Okay, so it's going to take longer for fuel to get to your squirters. Okay, so basically the bore, this is bigger. The older one is slightly bigger. Would it make a difference? Probably a little bit difference. This one would hit quicker because now fuel is not going around the little ball. The little ball is actually holding, more fuel, so it plugs up quicker. However, you can get the same effect by just pushing your keeper, 0.90 millimeters down, and you'll get the same effect, if not better. Okay, and lastly, there's actually one more thing. The little side bleed right there. You see that? See that? That is a 0.30 millimeter drill. Yeah, I have one. And it's in there. See? Whoops. See? Okay. That is it basically bleeds pressure so that you don't over pressurize your squirters. That's all it does. Basically. 30 millimeter. The 0 has none, which means the fuel that you're going to lose there, you get it over here, which means you get more fuel. It's acting a little bit better, but this is still superior. If you just drop that thing to 90, this thing will be superior to that. So, I mean, it's up to you guys. You want to get a 0. It'll probably work better, but this will work best. The standard one, just push it down. Or if you have a 0, push that thing a little bit more down. Like, I would go another probably 0.50. 0.50 max. So I would do 0.50 millimeters. On this thing right there. Push it down. Make sure you still have you hear that noise? Make sure you still have that, and you should be able to flow fuel pretty good. You shouldn't starve your pump. You should be fine. And now the extreme testing that I've been doing on these carburetors. Look, no filters. I got little caps that I'm running. Been running like that for over a week. So no pluggings or anything have occurred. Because the plugging is going to happen. Let me see if I can get that. There we go. It's going to happen through here. Okay. All the dirt is going to go into the bowl through that little hole right there in the center of the IDF. It's It's going to go in there, land in the fuel bowl, and the main is really the only thing that's going to suck it and ingest it, and it's not going to do anything to the engine, so don't worry about it. But I just need to make sure that my modification does not ingest the crap and plug up. So I'm running without filters. Filters are right there. Anyways, yeah, I'm running without filters. It runs fine. There's nothing different. I can still do pulls. Those are from CB Performance, those little socks. We're going to call them socks. It doesn't run rich or anything like that. I would have thought that they wouldn't be able to flow, but they do. So, whatever. They flow, so I'm not going to worry about it. Engine block is basically ice cold in the winter, so it creates a lot of condensation, and basically I get a lot of water, especially here. It just water, literally just water. I just go, if I take that off, I would go, and water would just make a puddle of water on the floor. So what I decided to do this winter is just remove the cap and put a rag with a zippy tie right there and remove that. And that took care of that. I already did a check on this. Bone dry. And I removed that also. Everything's bone dry. It doesn't do anything. I mean, it doesn't smell funny or anything like that. It just, the water is able to escape the engine block when it reaches partially warm, because it doesn't really get that warm. It only gets to like 150 Fahrenheit on the oil temperature. So it's not hot enough to, get that shit out of there, but it's hot enough to vaporize it so that it can escape through here and here. Oh, and those hoses, they're not connected anymore. They're just there. Because, yeah. Okay, anyways, these little socks, they come with the little rubbery rubber band thing. And I wasn't about to trust that rubber band keeping these things from getting ingested. So zippy tie moment on all of them. Also, new belt, because the other gates took a shit. It really took a shit. It was, for some reason, I think the cords inside snapped or something, and they started, the belt started getting bigger and bigger. So I was like, okay, time to change it. And now there is no squeal whatsoever. I can rev it all the way up, no squeal. And before it was squealing with the serpentine. And also, look at, now it's perfectly centered. Before, this thing was like way over here. Like this edge was over here. This edge right there. Now it's perfectly centered. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so, still beta testing. The only thing that I've changed is the idle. I went from 50s to 51s on this 2-liter engine. Okay, so if your engine, let's say you're running 55s, and that's perfect for you, that is perfect, you would probably go to a 56. You can't get that from CB Performance. They don't do fine tuning at CB Performance. As long as you're in the window, on the very side of the window, and not in the center. Okay, because, they call it a go, but to me, that you're just polluting. You're just you're a gross polluter. So this is why I fine tune. Okay, so I go to AA Performance. They have all those funky sizes for fine tuning. Okay, for the idles on your IDFs, all your IDFs. Also, they also have them for the air corrector. I'm not sure if they have them for the main, so I'm not going to say anything about the main. But you can check it out the website, okay? AA Performance, they rule on that area. But those are from CB Performance. Those little yellow socks, they're from CB Performance. But, also the Zero that I got, CB Performance. I'm very disappointed on the Zero. Not what I thought it was going to be. But a Zero is better than a 55, I'll tell you that much, for a daily driver. Okay, so we're going to move on, and I'm just going to continue driving. I might get some video of me driving and shit and see how that works out. I do drive it like I stole it sometimes. Not all the time, but I do hot dog it. Take those turns really hard, and there is no fuel starvation. That modification on the bulb at 10 millimeters high, no problem whatsoever. I would highly recommend this. purrs like a kitten. Okay, so those drillings made these carburetors very, very drivable. Like, drivability just went through the roof. Now, I have a feeling that original Webers probably also drive maybe like these, but I don't have any Webers to compare them to, so I don't know. I'm just going to say that what I did to those carburetors made them better. There is no fuel starvation. I drive them like I stole them, and drive them like I stole them. Drive it like I stole it, and it take the turns hard and everything. There is no fuel starvation whatsoever. They function because it's the exact same modification or the same configuration that the stock carburetor has. So therefore, there shouldn't be any fuel starvation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. Okay, so it's a solid mod. I do highly recommend it. If you have original Webers and they're run like shit, do this. Maybe this will help it. Just remember to clean the circuits. They have to be super duper duper clean, or they're gonna run like shit. Okay. So make sure when you do that, you have them squeaky clean. Okay. Spray carburetor cleaner before you plug it, so that you get all the junk out of there, or air or something. Just. I'm done ranting. Let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna drive it like I stole it. And pull to the middle. Oh! Okay, I better slow down. I'm almost 80. It's only got 109 ponies. This Type 4 engine, 109 at the flywheel. It's pretty good. I mean, it's got twice as much as horsepower as before. Before it had like 50, 55, something like that. I'm at 109. It's basically double. And I'm still getting good gas mileage. I'm still getting between 29 and 30 gallons to the gallon. It just kind of depends how I floor it. Like, okay. Yeah, I'm still learning how to shift. Okay, I'm gonna floor it just to see if we can get. Oh, we actually slid. The rear end broke loose a little bit. Yikes! It's a swing axle. What do you want? But there was no hesitation. There was no fuel starvation. It picks up really quick. I'm doing 80. I'm slowing down. I'm at 70. I don't understand why Weber hasn't done this. To me, it just boggles my mind. Why they haven't done this. It's just very, very simple. As a matter of fact, it's probably easier to do this than have to drill a bunch of holes that don't need to be there on the carburetor. When I was doing this in many, many experiments. I was doing this in several experiments. I'll show you a couple of clips. On the top, I was modifying the top. In my mind, I knew what I was doing. And in one of those experiments, because I did like 4 or 5 experiments, in one of those experiments, the idles woke up. But that's because I didn't touch the mains. I only messed around with the idles while I was doing some holes, breather holes on the top. That woke up the idle. In other words, I had excellent drivability like I do right now. So I was like, oh my God, I'm having fuel standoff with the main. Oh my God. And that's when I knew. I was having fuel standoff issues. But see, then I went to Mexico. I just left everything in the middle. But in my mind, I knew what I had to do. And that was drill the carburetor. Drill it, plug it, and basically separate the circuits, the main and the idle. They needed to be separate. And but basically during that experiment, I basically figured out that I can't run those first
experiments because they were not feasible. They had other issues. They had many other issues. And it all has to do with atmospheric pressure in the fuel bowl was just not correct. It would not function. Therefore, I had to abandon the whole project because the way it's designed, you can't do it. Okay, IMPI made a new version of the Webers out of billet aluminum. I guarantee you that they're still doing the exact same thing that Weber is. They probably fixed the thing so you don't get dirt in the in the idles, but I guarantee you that they're still running the idle and the main in the same circuit. So they still have the same bullshit drivability that the Webers have, or the Chinese, same thing, Chinese, clones, whatever. It's the same thing. Get a wideband. I would highly recommend the AEM because the AEM is alcohol compliant. Okay, there's some widebands that will not give you the true reading when you add alcohol. Okay, so AEM is alcohol compliant. If you live in California, that's 10% alcohol. The AEM will give you a perfect reading on the AFR and the lambda, both of them. They run perfect. Okay, anyways. So, get a wideband. Oh my God, it's so much easier with the wideband. Wideband. Oh, anyways. Alright, this is pretty much it. I just wanted to do touch base on this stuff. Adiós muchachos, adiós muchachas, a los guachos.